Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, bringing you your review of yesterday's disaster class 1-0 loss to Pacos De Ferreira. I genuinely can't believe I'm saying this. It's absolutely shocking. Should never happen. But here to dissect what's gone on is our co-host Jack Hanicki and Ellie. Jack, how are you, my man?
Keeping very well, David. It's also good to have Ellie. Really excited to see, what the Harris Army has to say about yesterday's game. Hopefully we're still, a little bit angry, but we also still have to keep, the Wolves game in mind, still stay optimistic, still stay positive. But yeah, David, looking forward to breaking the last game down.
Yeah, 100%. And Ellie, how are you?
Really well, thank you. Had a nice day at work, successful day, so really pleased.
No, happy days. That's good, Nice day at work, and now you're on the Irish Hotspur. What more can go on for you today, huh?
Bring it on.
No, but look, we have a lot to get through today, guys. Honestly, some people are saying maybe Nuno got his team selection wrong. We're gonna dissect that, get our thoughts on that, give our thoughts on that. Of course, likes of Winks, Ben Davies, Doherty, Lascelles, the debutants. And much more to get through, guys. But look, before we do get into it, let's welcome some of the Harris Army in. We have no cap. He lost us that match 100%. Philip Brady says, red today, Winks wants to stay and fight for his place. I will actually be touching on that as well. Don't worry, I have a lot to say on that, Philip. So we will be touching on that. Jack will throw that in maybe when we're talking just before about Harry Winks. Chris says, Winks can go. Sick of his dire performances last night was final straw. He has to go. 100%. I couldn't agree more, Chris. And we have Anthony Gray says, yes, move Winks on, but the problem is who wants to buy him. It'll have to be a cut price deal. I Levy will do that. Look, I couldn't care if we have to pay a team at this stage. I want him gone. The guy is giving me sleepless nights. William McKenzie says, evening all. But Anthony, I will say that is a fair point, my man. William McKenzie says, evening all. Big up, William. I hope things are good with you, my man. And he says, get David to 10K by the end of the year.
Big up, William.
This guy's more ambitious than I am. Look, 10K I could only dream of. I actually don't think I'll ever get there. But look, if you have that faith, William, I'll keep pushing for you and the rest of the Harris Army, my man. James Redmond says Mourinho third against Winks after his dreadful performance away to Royal Antwerp last year, which was a 1-0 loss. Can't see the point in keeping a dud who has a value of 18 million. Yeah, I agree. We have Dark Sung G. He says, Mr. Passion can't lead the youths, even though he is the most experienced player on the field. What an embarrassment. He needs to go to a different league to succeed. 100%. I couldn't agree more, Dark Sung G. I could not agree more. Jiminy, he just says Winks has to go. Plain and simple. Big yourself up. Couldn't agree more. It's good to see you, Jiminy. Good to see you. Wayne Smith says, sell him. He serves no purpose to the team. He seems to be a all right person, but that's no contribution to the club. He is stealing a wage. Time to move on. Couldn't agree more. I could not agree more, Wayne Smith. Wayne Smith, perfectly summed up, my man. Perfectly summed up. Who else have we got here? We've got Mac, says send Winks to Turkey. We've got Dan N. Winks has a better chance of fighting the Taliban than fighting for a place in the first team. Look, I wouldn't let Winks back up my computer, let alone be back up for Tottenham. Sue Smith says a few players who contracts I'd like to terminate. Winks and Doherty are at the head of the queue. Yeah, 100%. Sure. Troy and Dumbelly there too. Who else have we got? We've got
big up Sanji as well.
Yeah, big up. We've got Romero, best centre back in London. Sell Winks to the Clun for free, 100%.
Romero, focus on recovering, Romero. There are rumors, he took a knock from the last game. So, Romero, hope you're focused on recovering. Hope you have some ice on the knee maybe while you're watching the Irish Hotspur. But big yourself up, Romero.
Yeah, big yourself up. Matthew Baker says, I'd happily swap Winks for Tom Davies. Yeah, 100%. Mr. K, smash like everyone's show. This lovely panel, some love. Big yourself up. Really appreciate it. We have Dtrex Kane in the house. Says, hi, guys. # Harris Army. Big yourself up. Jason Bell's in the building. Cody Mack says, hello, everyone. Great panel. Thank you so much, Cody Mack. I really, really appreciate that. ATX7 Game. And what's up, Jack? or David, Jack, and Ellie. Come on, you Spurs, big yourself up, man.
TX.
Really appreciate the love. Really, really appreciate it. And we have Oliver Freeman as well. He says, no Milinkovic, no Tomiyasu. That Cagliari deal is off 100%. And then let's get into it. We have a couple of super chats to get to. Jiminy, big yourself up. Really appreciate the donation, my man. You're very, very kind. He says, I've had a nice day in lockdown, and apparently so has our squad. Yeah, look, first of all, I feel for you back in lockdown, my man. I hope things are good. Look, hopefully this content maybe eases the pain a little bit for you, Jiminy. Yeah, and look, our squad, yeah, some of it seems to be in lockdown, at least half of it anyway. 100%, Jiminy. Jack, what's your thoughts on the super chat here? Thank you so much.
No, really appreciate it, Jiminy. Really appreciate the donation. Really appreciate the support as always, Jiminy, as well. But Jiminy, I do hope that you're having a good lockdown. Hope you have some good Ben and Jerry's maybe in the fridge. Maybe a bit, something cold as well in the fridge, maybe for you to sip on, maybe while watching the Irish Hotspur. But then as well, I hope you are treating yourself to maybe a good dinner. It is a Friday. Maybe think of the best things, to prepare for yourself in lockdown. What type of recipes do you have, Jiminy? And then as well, I will say, I hope we actually put a permanent lockdown on some of these players. Like, they're not allowed to leave, or even come near maybe, our stadium for certain games. Maybe Harry Winks just isn't allowed to be permitted into the stadium for certain games. Maybe he's not even allowed to travel with the team. I think we should put a lot of players on lockdown, Jiminy, but let me know what you think. And Jiminy as well. Really do appreciate the support.
Yeah, and Jiminy, look, maybe you can pull some strings in Australia and get him to go over there to the Mariners or something like that, my man. That'd be nice. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. Dark Song G21, big yourself up. Really appreciate the support. Says Mr. Passion name should be told to the youths at the academy, as if you want to succeed or be loved by Spurs fans. Do not become like Mr. Passion or bye-bye. Yeah, and look, this has been my concern over the last while, is this the guy that, should be setting the example like you've made it at Tottenham, you know what I mean? If you be like me. Look, it's an absolute joke. Mr. Passion, he has to go. Look, I'm going to get more into it. Don't worry about that. But, and you'll see why I say this guy has to go. And I have some very, very valid points too. But 100% Dark Song G. Look, this guy cannot be the example of what you need to be to come out of the academy. Jack, thoughts?
David, I'm not even. Is Mr. Passion even? I love that Dark Sun G, has about as much of a hate, for the likes of Mr. Anonymous, Mr. Passion, as much as David does. Honestly, you can tell that Dark Sun G and David are cut from a similar cloth in terms of the way they think, in terms of the way they even feel about the club and some of its players as well. But I will say, Dark Sun G, let me know, is Mr. Passion now too nice of a nickname? For Winksy? Is it the one that, should he become, the one that should not be named? Does he become, maybe non-applicable, David? Maybe we should start calling him that, as we did in our play ratings. I honestly am starting to think that Mr. Passion is just too nice of a nickname for him.
Yeah, look, my concern is Dark Song G, that maybe he tunes in, sees the nickname, and he's like, yes, the fans love me. That's a concern. That's a concern.
So let me know, Dark Sun G.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's the brightest spark in the book. Big up, Dark Sun G. Big yourself up and Jimmy. Thank you so much, guys. Wayne Bonner as well. Big up, Wayne. I hope things are well. Look, not a great start to the weekend for you, my man. Look, hopefully you're off for the Wolves game and you get to sit back and enjoy it. Or even maybe, hopefully, you get to go and have a beer. Who knows? But he says, God damn, is Stink's still at the club? Don't remember seeing him play for Spurs or play football. Yeah. Look, so I wish I could erase a lot of the performances, my man, to be honest with you. But I can't, honestly, anyone that defends this guy any longer, I just question their sanity. I question their sanity because you can't defend them any longer. You cannot defend them. Look, I predicted in the pre-match bump up or in the pre-match show, Wayne, on the channel, the preview we done here the night before, I said to everybody, they're aggressive in midfield. If we start Harry Winks, we're in trouble. They're going to pick his pocket. They're going to force him into a mistake, and they're going to score off the back of it. And it's exactly what happened. And I hate to be wrong, or I hate to be right. I want to be wrong. And at the end of the day, it's just not good enough. Look, I've never seen him play. Look, that one game 4, 5, 10, 20 years ago that everyone keeps talking about, that game against Madrid, that's the only time we've seen him really play football, and everyone keeps talking about it when, people are still living off the memory. Jack, anything you want to say to Wayne?
No, Wayne, let me know what you think in the comments. Is Mr. Passion, again, sorry, yeah, Dark Sun G, please let me know. Does Mr. Passion, is that the one we have to start getting, rid of get out of our heads? But Wayne, I need to know from you, is maybe Harry Winks just one of those players that, it might be one of just the football frauds. Maybe he's not actually been a footballer. He's just been kind of pretending, almost acting as a footballer this whole time. Maybe he should get an Oscar for the performances that he's put in, for giving the illusion of being a footballer. So let me know, Wayne, is he maybe one of the biggest frauds you've ever seen in terms of profession? I honestly, I will maybe even, that's the one thing I would tip my hat to in terms of Winks. He seems to convince everybody that he is a footballer when he, in fact, this entire time has never been. So let me know, Wayne, is he the biggest fraud in the world?
100%. And look, speaking of acting, I'll get into that. Some people think this club is Hollywood, not Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. But don't worry, I'll get into that, Wayne. Just 2 more super chats to get through here, and then we'll start getting on to the questions and get Eddie. And actually, we have a few to get to here. Sorry, guys. Dark Sung G says, today's Spurs training video shows we need more players like Son who brings a positive environment to the team. I love seeing Skip and Tanganga on it. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Look, Tanganga, Skip, walking around happy. They're giving it their all. They don't come out and speak in the papers like certain players. They actually prove it in actions on the pitch, so that they avoid coming out the next day and making up lies in the papers. So, look, for me, I think they're a perfect example now to the academy. We have a lot of other players coming through, and hopefully these are the guys that they're looking up to. As far as Son concerned, honestly, this guy, the energy, the enthusiasm, the love, the happiness this guy brings to the squad, I actually don't think is talked about enough, to be honest with you, Jack. What's your thoughts here?
No, I don't think it's brought up enough as well. Like, considering, Sonny seems to be more of a leader as well, David, than we ever thought. He seems to actually bring a certain vibe to the dressing room, a certain kind of energy, a certain kind of lightheartedness as well. It seems like Sonny, he's very charismatic, obviously. Sonny, he's very good at getting along with the players. He seems to also be kind of one of those guys, David, that even, I bet there are plenty of cliques within the squad. I bet there are plenty of kind of maybe a bit of barriers, in terms of some of the players. And it seems like Sonny's just one of those guys that could walk up to any one of the tables, could walk up to any one of the cliques and, fit right in. He seems to, just be everyone's kind of favorite, maybe even everyone's friend in the squad. And it's hard to know, maybe in the case of Harry Kane, it was more of a respect for maybe what people thought of him. They all deeply respected him and, and respected his professionalism. Or maybe in the case of Sonny, they not only respect his professionalism, but maybe also just respect, just his human ability, right? His charisma. Yeah. So I do think that's something that definitely needs to be brought up about Sonny. And then as well, I do love seeing Skippy and Tanganga just absolutely going for it in training. I really enjoy also, quickly, Dark Sun G, and let me know what you think in the comments, Dark Sun G. It seems like the training method, a lot of it is kind of almost pairing people and having them go against each other in the training almost all day, whether it be, any technical things, physical things. They seem to have this thing where they might pair players together and have them battle against each other the whole day. Which I think is actually a really good training method personally. But let me know what you think, Dark Sun G. Really do appreciate the support as well.
Yeah, big yourself up, Dark Sun G. Really, really enjoyed that. Good answer, Jacko. Big up, Dermot. Ellie, he wants to know how you are.
I'm really well. Thank you, Dermot.
Good. We can barely hear you, Ellie. Are you covering your speaker?
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Is that better?
Yeah, that's 10 times better.
I said I'm really well, and I hope he's well too.
Yeah, no, I hope you are too, Dermot. Big yourself up. Who else have we got here? William McKenzie says, are you a bit of a show pony at training? Tanganga, look at him like, bro, you're over 100%. Big up, David. Hope things are well, my man. Dark Sung G, the person who brought Mr. Passion should be ashamed. Yeah. Look, I agree. Shouldn't really have a job left, Dark Sung G. It's Tony Hall, big yourself up, says, hello, guys, absolutely. It's going to be painful keeping Harry Winks. The man is just not good enough for our squad. Yeah, couldn't agree more. We have Wayne Bonner, Winks' Arsenal standard. Yeah, ship him off there. Yeah. Look, just get him gone. I don't care where he goes. Ship him off to Colchester or MK Dons with Troy Parrott. I don't care. Just get him gone. Big up, Wayne Bonner. Appreciate that, man. Mole and Joe says Winks is a third division player on Prem wages. That's why he won't go. Yeah. Look, 100%, of course. I've said this a lot. We've all said this a long time ago. It's no secret. Everyone knows this. Pretty sure everyone's thinking along the lines that, look, some of these guys are not going to give up their wages to go somewhere else. They're going to milk every bit they can. Jiminy says Winks isn't Mr. Passion. He's Mr. Doesn't show up in the first team or on the pitch. Yeah, look, I agree. Look, I get it. He's homegrown. He's come through the academy. He's a Tottenham boy. I get it, but that's not enough to keep him. It's just not enough to keep him, Jiminy. It's not. At the end of the day, we should have standards. We should even have morals, like, that if a player's just not good enough, just stop persisting with them. When are we going to learn our lessons, Jiminy? When are we going to learn our lessons? It's absolutely shambolic, and I'm sick of this guy. Jack, what do you want to say to Jiminy?
Yeah, I think there's so many, more fitting nicknames that we're going to have to find. I really do appreciate that, Dark Sun G, he always knows what the current nickname is, for Mr. Passion, for Winksy. But Jiminy here saying, maybe it is Mr. Doesn't Show Up, whether it be on the pitch or the first team, but as well with Winksy, I might say it's just Mr. Let You Down, Mr. Blue Balls, Mr. Disappointment, Mr. Betrayal. All those even seem a bit too nice for him as well. But Jiminy, we really do appreciate it. Really do appreciate the support. And I do hope you're having a good time in lockdown. I do hope you enjoyed the show as well. It's good to have Ellie on it and have her give her thoughts on some of these players, given that she's a former Spurs lady herself. So she knows what it's like, to actually have the blood inside her. And she probably is, feeling a bit alien to Harry Stinks, and so it would be good. Would be good to get her thoughts on it. But yeah, Jiminy, really do appreciate it.
Yeah. Big yourself up. Really, really do appreciate the support. Just 2 more super chats to get to, and then we're going to bring Ellie in. So big up, Jiminy. Really, really appreciate it. And just quickly, look, what I'd say to you is, in lockdown, just sit back, enjoy it. Family time. You're never going to get the time again to be able to sit back, relax, reset your body. Reset the clock. You know what I mean, and stuff like that. So, look, make the most of it, my man. You're never going to get the time again. As soon as lockdown's finished, you're going to be back on work. They're back to the 9 to 5 grind. So just sit back and enjoy it. Think of it as a holiday, my man. That's what got me through it. David Woodford said it was our senior players that let us down yesterday. Couldn't agree more. Tim Man 007, Tottenham have now reached an agreement with Metz to sign midfielder Pape Sarr. He will remain on loan at Metz next season. Personal terms still need to be agreed, according to French media. Yeah, look, I'll have a look at that. I'll have a look at that quickly when we get onto the questions there. So don't worry, I'll have a look on that, Tim Man. If it's confirmed 100%, let me know, Tim Man. Let me know. Killian Kenny, big yourself up. Here's your shout out. He says, please let's get to 40k by tonight. Look, that's very ambitious. You're more ambitious than me and William McKenzie, my man. Delete says the problem is how do you sell someone who's shit? Same with Sissoko. Yeah, I get it, but there's always clubs out there that'll take it. It's just the asking price we want. Oliver Freeman says Winks to Salford. Yeah, I don't even think Gary Neville will get roped into that. Let's be honest with you. Look, Gary Neville had more ability than what Harry Winks does. And, Gary Neville wasn't the best footballer. He was just consistent. And, he done the basics very, very well. He done them all, executed them more times than he didn't. So, look, yeah, please get him gone. Maybe, Oliver, you can ring someone at Salford and get the deal done. And Dark Sung G21 says new nickname for Winks is Mr. Easy or Mr.
Easy Pass.
Easy
Mr.
Pass.
Easy Pass. I kind of like Easy Pass, actually, because David, Easy Pass is, it's like for a toll-free booth, or something you take on the motorway, going through tolls, going through bridges, Mr. Easy Pass. Maybe that's what, Winks is probably best for. He's just the guy that, lifts, lets the broad drawbridge down, for people to pass through. He's practically even that type of midfielder, David. He just kind of guides the traffic, through his defense, lets people go, red light, green light, it's time to go. Now it's not time to go. Honestly, he really is that type of player. So Mr. Easy Pass, I really like that one, actually, Dark Sun G. That one kind of fits.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And guys, just quickly, a bit of housekeeping before we get into the questions. There is a poll pinned up in the chat here, guys. Is it time to move Harry Winks on? The answer, yes or no. It'd be interesting to see the answers. And make sure you do smash a like on the stream, guys. Make sure you smash a subscribe on the channel if you're new. We've reached 4K. We're now pushing and pressing ahead to 5K. And then as well, look, keep getting in the support, the super chats, guys. It's unbelievable. You have no idea how much it really helps us. You can see the progression from where we started to now. It really has helped us. And hopefully you guys feel like that your super chats are going in the right place and we're coming back with better and better content. And speaking of better content, guys, the debut of Stats with Jack, where you tune in, will give you all the tactical preview you need for coming up to this game, where we think we can break down Wolves. We'll show it to you in tactical format and everything else. It's going to be an absolute belter of a show, guys. So tune in and do not miss that one. Do not miss it. But look, Jack, take it away. Let's get into it and give the first question to Ellie, just while I go and confirm about this Pape Sarr news.
No problem, David. No problem, David. Ellie, maybe just give me your initial thoughts on the game. What do you like? What was maybe your feeling after the game? Were you feeling sick? Were you feeling disappointed, ashamed? What are your thoughts on the game, maybe initially?
I was feeling all those emotions. It was just like we didn't play, and all the attacking play came to nothing. And then poor Dane Scarlett was running around like a headless chicken, trying to make runs, and they weren't finding him. I felt really sorry for him because he'd done some really decent runs, and they weren't finding him, and it was very frustrating and very annoying and very embarrassing because I had to go to work where I've got my boss who's a Chelsea fan. Oh, worse than Arsenal. I'm telling
especially.
you.
And then maybe even speaking of that disappointment, was it kind of disappointed to see some of our younger players as well kind of just be let down by more of the senior pros? It seemed like, even the likes of Scarlett, like you mentioned, maybe even Niall John, were kind of examples of players where they kind of were the ones that were holding us up. They were the ones that were even some of our best, performers. And it shouldn't really be that way. They should be the ones that, maybe should be making more of the mistakes, the ones that should be getting more free passes. But it didn't seem that way. Any thoughts on that?
I thought Lo Celso was the worst of the bunch, to tell you the truth. He didn't have no passion. He kept shying away from tackles as well. Like he didn't want to get injured, and he just didn't do anything. And then Romero looks all right. He looks solid. Brian Gill, if that's how you pronounce it, Brian Gill, I think he was a bright spark. He was trying his best to get behind the Portuguese defence because they were quite solid. That Portuguese defence, they were wrecking us, and they were pushing us away from goal all the time. But it only needed one person with a bit of vision to find Scarlett, and he would have equalised easily. But we just didn't. We didn't have the heart, and it's like with Deadwood. It's like they had lead weight in their boots as well. Rubbish. Really rubbish performance. And Winks was the worst of the bunch. I was watching him and I was fuming because he's so. I'm going to call him Mr. Sidewinder. That's all he knows is how to pass sideways and backwards. But sideways, he just looks for the easy pass so he doesn't lose it, so they don't blame him. He's got no vision, the boy.
No, not at all. No, not at all. And maybe, now that we got your initial, thoughts on the game, Ellie, maybe I might just come, with the real, maybe first kind of hard-hitting question. Ellie, a lot have said, maybe Nuno got, maybe the lineup wrong. He got the 11 wrong. Is that how you feel about it? What are your thoughts maybe on Nuno's selection? Do you think we should have gone with a more, experienced team for a game like this? Or do you feel like the players selected should have been able to get the job done?
Yeah, I do. I think they should have got the job done. But the senior players, like you said, they let us down big time. They're the ones who should be guiding the youngsters, and the youngsters were guiding them. They were doing all the lovely, intelligent runs, trying to find space behind their defence. And then Scarlett was running around trying to make space so that he can get the ball and score. And no one was finding him.
Yeah.
Lo Celso was very, very poor. I was very disappointed with him.
Yeah. David, I think it's this one that we didn't get to first from Dark Sun G. Dark Sun G here saying for homegrown players, we have Skippy, we have Harvey White, Tanganga, and then also he wants Winks out of here. Unfortunately, Winks does count as a homegrown player, but I think there are plenty of players that are homegrown that are fully capable of replacing him. I mean, I would much rather have Harvey White any day, it seems like at this point, than Winks. But Dark Sun G, really do appreciate it. Any thoughts maybe on him just clarifying the homegrown players there for us, David?
Yeah, just quickly, look, the excuses that we've had over last season about keeping this boy around, and I say boy because he is a boy, is that, he counts the homegrown quota and we need him. But we don't need him anymore. With Tanganga, Skip, White, there's plenty of other players there now that can fill that spot. So get him gone, no more excuses.
Yeah, no more excuses. No more excuses. Jiminy here saying everyone talks about Kane, but never about Sonny. Yeah, it is a bit interesting, Jiminy. Maybe with the new contract, signed by Sonny, maybe also with that, that vibe, that energy that he's bringing into the team. Even him just looking like kind of the new face of Spurs, even commercially as well as just personally, the new face of Spurs. It is maybe something that we kind of forgot about, that, Sonny is fully capable of kind of stepping into that role, stepping into that mold, being the face of Tottenham. And I think he's actually handling it quite well so far. We are reading into it, obviously, as always, way too early, but I do think he is an excellent candidate as the face for Spurs. But definitely do appreciate it, Jiminy, really do appreciate it. And Tin Man 007, really good to see you, Tin Man. Always love seeing you in the chat. Also, Tin Man, you're such a generous supporter of the Irish Hotspur, and all your contributions really do help, Tin Man. They really do help us.
Just come to me because I do want to confirm what you said.
No, for sure. And he says, can you ask Ellie if she remembers the game versus Arsenal at Highbury in 1985? He says where they were top, and we won 2-1 to go top at the away. The away end was great, and it was back in the good old days, Ellie. Any thoughts on maybe this game, way back in the day that Tin Man is kind of speaking of?
Yeah, I remember it. But the thing is, do you know what game I remember more than that one? I love that game as well, but the one when we won 3-2 at the Emirates, wasn't it? Yeah, that was a game. Because we were winning, then we losing, and then we come back. And I like Van der Vaart's reaction. But that game, we played so well in the game that he's saying. I think because normally when we play Arsenal, we don't play our best game. There's snippets of the best games, like when we beat them in the semi-final when Gazza scored. But we always tend to not play well against Arsenal. Not. In the day, but lately we've been playing very well against them, which I'm very happy about. But the 3-2 victory stands out in my memory because what Van der Vaart goes, he goes, shh, shh. The Arsenal fans, it made me laugh. Oh my God, I love Van der Vaart when he did that. What a great player telling all the Arsenal to shut up.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, Tin Man. There you go, Tin Man. And also as well, Tin Man, we do have, a new show coming out once it's completed and once it fits into the schedule with Ellie and Philip that you probably know from the fan show. They're going to be kind of reminiscing the old days. They're going to be kind of answering a lot of questions like this. So Tin Man, I really hope that you're looking forward to that show. We can't wait to have Ellie and Philip combined together, and they're going to be able to take us through the glory days and, the good old days, like maybe you said here, Tin Man. But David, anything to say to Tin Man?
Tin Man, I just want to confirm what you did say earlier on. Never doubted you. I just wanted to make sure I seen it from Fabrizio Romano first. And the reports are from Fabrizio Romano. Tottenham have definitely decided to leave negotiations with Cagliari for Nahitan Nandez. Contacts now started with Metz for Pape Matar Sarr, as reported. Not done or imminent yet. So basically, I know there's been reports saying it is a done deal, and he's going back to Metz, for the rest of the season, and then he'll be joining up with Tottenham next year. I'm not 100% sure how they are, but it is confirmed that we are trying to get a deal done for. I'll just mention his name again, Pape Sarr. Jack, just quickly, we do have another couple of super chats to get to, and then I do want to give my thoughts on the starting lineup yesterday. But do you know anything about this guy, Pape Sarr, Metz? No.
No, not at all, David. Not at all. Actually, I will say I do not watch, Liga is probably, the league that I would say is not my forte in terms of, in terms of players. Probably should be, David. I probably should step it up considering that some of the best players are, coming out of Liga. It's just, some of the games there are quite dreadful to watch, I will say. But despite that, there are still some of the best talents in all of European football are still coming out of Liga. So it's a bit of a paradox, you might say, where, it's not maybe the best football to be watched, but still some of the best players in Europe are coming out of there. So it is a bit of a paradox, and definitely should step it up for Tin Man and for the rest of the Harris Army here, and for, just to keep us up to date on some of these kind of things.
I just hope it's not another Ndombele, Clinton and G, Kevin and Kudu situation again. I really hope it's not. But there you are, Tin Man. Fair play to you, half the press. I appreciate you keeping us updated. Jiminy says here, the moment I saw the lineup, I knew we were doomed. We were missing too many key players in the starting lineup. Bad selection from Nuno, in my opinion. Look, I'm just going to get Jack's quick opinion on this. Me, Jiminy, I'm going to save my opinion for a minute's time, and then I'll give my opinion, but I'll let Jack answer this because my opinion is a bit different, Jiminy.
To be honest, I didn't think that we would be doomed, with the lineup. I really thought that, I will go this far, even Jimmy. I really thought, Harry Winks, this was actually the right level for Harry Winks. I thought that this would be a game that Harry Winks, would be able to dominate in, would be able to, develop the play, but clearly not. Clearly, I had too much faith in him. And that's what really scares me, is that if Harry Winks and some of these players can't play at this level against Pacos De Ferreira, I don't really think they can practically play at any level that's near Spurs. So it really does concern me. And plenty of people have called this, some of these players in the lineup that we had in that game, plenty of people have called them, good backup players, good squad players. Well, if they can't keep it up for a game like this, I really don't know what type of player they really are. They shouldn't even be in the Spurs squad, because if they can't play these kind of games, then we should just be playing entirely the youth, because I can promise you it was not the youth that let us down. It was definitely the likes of Ben Davies. It was definitely the likes of Cameron Carter-Vickers, Doherty, Winksy, Gio. A lot of these guys were really all experienced players that should be able to absolutely dominate in these scenarios, but it was the likes of Brian Hill, Scarlett, John, Romero, players that are all new, young, that are not really embedded in the squad at all. They're the ones that are actually, standing up for us, and the ones that are our biggest sparks. So I will say, Jiminy, like, coming from me, I don't really think it really was that bad of a selection, in my opinion. But Jiminy, I think, we both probably have our points here. I think we're probably both right. I think Nuno probably should have realized that some of these players actually can't play in this kind of game. They aren't ready for this kind of game. But then I will say, what does that then say? It says more about the players than I think it does about Nuno, in my opinion. And I do think Nuno is trying to avoid, relying on the players like Sonny and stuff for all these kind of games, when we really shouldn't need these kind of players. But Jiminy, really do appreciate the support. Really do appreciate the generosity as well, Jiminy. You don't know how much this helps David and I. And as well, Jiminy, you definitely could be right. Maybe it was, a bit of, foresightedness from Nuno, maybe to do that. So it's tough, though. I really don't want to blame his selection. I do think these players should have been able to play at this level, though.
Yeah, 100%. So big up, Jimmy. Appreciate the support, my man. Really, really appreciate the support. We have super chat here from Mary McGee. Says, in all fairness, guys, these lads didn't have any time with each other on the pitch, but Nuno should have brought first team players with him for cover. Mary, look, if you're Irish, let me know. Or British pounds. Yeah. So look, let me know whereabouts you're from in England. But no, Mary McGee, it's a bit of an Irish name, so there's definitely some Irish in there. Yeah, look, time with each other. Look, just on that. Look, I'll be honest with you. I've seen teams, over the years when we were getting into Europa League and the UEFA, which was called the UEFA Cup back then, we were slapping teams like these, easy, with a mixture of youth and a mixture of backup players. And for me, look, I just think the backup players over the years have got worse. Some of this trust just has to go. They're holding the club back. Look, I can get what you're saying. There is an element to it, a bit like, cohesion, and, they haven't had time to work as a unit, this, that, and the other. But look, what I will say to you is, after the City game, they have a point to prove. They know that the competition for them to get in there after the City game is up here. I would expect them to come out all guns blazing, especially the senior players leading our team. They didn't do it. And for me, look, I get what you're saying, but personally, I just have a different point of view. But I do see where you're coming from, and there is an element to that as well. And Nuno should have brought first team players with him for cover. On that part, what I will say to you is, look, last season we were all moaning that Højbjerg, Kane, Son, they played all the games, UEFA Cup games, we didn't need to play them. Well, all I'll say now is there's a reason why we had to play them, because otherwise this stuff happens. Zagreb happens, Colchester happens, Antwerp last season happens. These results happens when these same players keep playing. So, but look, I do see where you're coming from. Maybe we did underestimate them. Maybe we did. But look, 100% to see where you're coming from. But Jack, ask me the question, my man. Let me share my thoughts.
Yeah, what's it down to Nuno, David? Yeah, is it down to Nuno's team selection? Is it maybe, Nuno not thinking, enough about maybe the opposition? Is it Nuno maybe underestimating the opposition? Is it Nuno getting the tactics wrong? Is it him just getting the 11 wrong? Like, what do you think? What do you think? Is a lot of this maybe has to be shared by Nuno, this defeat?
Look, for me, Jack, I'll be honest with you, right? I've been here 3 times before already, or 2 times before already. Pochettino went against Colchester. Some of these players played. And what excuse were we given then? Oh, did we underestimate them? Should we play a bit of a better team? No, we should be beating Colchester. Put out under 23s, they should be beating Colchester, for God's sake. Then Antwerp last season, did we underestimate Antwerp? Antwerp are shit. You should be slapping teams like that. You look at Zagreb, Winks, Davies, Doherty, should be slapping teams like Antwerp. Should not happen. No excuses to lose to them. Zagreb, same thing. It should not happen. You should not be losing to them. We were up going into that leg, and they threw it away. And not only that, there was no fight, no passion, no desire, no urgency to come back that night. Same in Colchester, same in Antwerp, and same last night. Yeah. For me, look, we said the same under Pochettino when these results happened, said the same thing under Jose, blamed Jose when these sort of results happened, and now we're going to put it on Nuno. For me, we can't be doing that anymore. We have to realize that the common denominator between all these results is not the three different managers they're happening under. It's the players that are playing in the games. Last night, you put out a Doherty. You put out a Winks in midfield alongside Lo Celso, may I add. So you should have more than enough to beat these. These got slapped 3-0 by Boa Vista on Monday. Then you put a Ben Davies in the team. Right? These players have been here for years. Never ever nailed down a starting first team position ever in their career at Tottenham. The only time they have had a run in the team is when we've had injuries. That's the only time they've had a run in the team. And these are the guys that you send out there to make players around them flourish. The second thing is, I hear a lot of people saying, we didn't bring enough experience. Session had a full loan season out last season at Hoffenheim. Played nearly every week. He's Bundesliga experience. He's game experience under his belt. Cameron Carter-Vickers is 22, 23. He's had more loans than a person going into liquidation, Jack, right? And he's still not good enough. There's no excuse for the performance he put in last night. Like I said, who else have we got? Brian Hill. He played a full season last season. Okay, he's a shining light. I'm not putting him anywhere near this. But he had a full season last season playing football. So the only inexperienced player you'd really say that was out there was Dane Scarlett. That was it. Everyone else has played football. So it's not the lineup. The problem is the players. It's the players. We can't keep blaming the managers and the lines up and everything else. At the end of the day, people say the likes of a Winks, a Davies, and a Doherty, they're here for these games. They're backups. People are saying, of course they're not. They started off, they are good enough. Now they're sitting there saying, no, they're not good enough, but they're good backup players. They're good backup players, right? And this is where these are the games they should be playing in. Well, we're playing in these games, and they're turning us into the laughingstock of Europe, of England, because they just don't put it in these games. And in fact, I go back to quotes that Jose Mourinho made last year or before one of the Europa League games. Some of these players think they're too good to be playing in this competition. And
David,
these were the players that played in that competition last year. And now we're playing in the competition, a step down that was created this year. And they can't even perform in that. So do they think they're too good to be in this competition? Well, what I'd say to that quickly is they may think they're too good to be in the competition, but they're a main part of the reason why we're in these competitions. They're a massive part of it. So how dare they think they're too good to be in this competition? And me, just quickly, this is why I say you can't keep blaming Nuno. For me, Nuno doesn't take the blame. It's the experienced players out there where you see the common denominator over three managers and the same shit keeps happening. So it's the players, the experienced players out there, not Nuno.
Absolutely. And then Jiminy here with yet again another super chat. Jiminy, we really do appreciate it. You've been so incredibly generous. Really do appreciate the support. Again, you really don't understand how much it really helps David and I, continue to come out with this content for you guys, continue to reinvent ourselves, continue to improve ourselves as well. But Jiminy, he's saying here, the fact that we need Kane, Sonny, and Mora on the team to win games like this shows how inadequate most of our players are. Yeah, Jiminy, that's where I kind of felt like, you and I were kind of agreeing with each other, actually. I think, you were saying, maybe Nuno should have just realized that, some of these players that he selected are just too inadequate in order to play, against Pacos De Ferreira. But that's why I was kind of saying, Jiminy, is the fact that, the likes of Stinksy, the fact that the likes of Doherty, Gio, Sessegnon, maybe even the case of Cameron Carter-Vickers, some of these more experienced players, these players that we brought into the club for plenty of money, plenty of coin, the fact that they're not able to step up against the likes of Pacos De Ferreira is very concerning. It really just shows that they're practically, we can't use them in any of these games. They just need to be out of the club as soon as possible. Because again, if they can't play against teams like this, if they can't step up against teams like this, that's really deeply concerning. That means we practically only can use them in the games like the friendlies where there's no consequence whether we lose or not. It seems like that's the case for them, and it really is concerning that these are the players as our maybe second tier, third tier backups. Like, honestly, we need to do a lot better than that. We need to do a lot better, and it's just sad that Mora, Sonny, and Kane feel like they need to play in games like this in order to to keep the team afloat. It really is despicable. It's probably what Jose was feeling from last season, and Nuno was thinking that maybe he could get through to these players to step up in games like this. Clearly not. Clearly no manager can do it. But Dark Sun G here. Oh yeah, David, sorry. Any thoughts on Jiminy here?
Yeah, no, look, 100%. I see where he's coming from. He's coming from the perspective that, look, we all know these players are inadequate. The only thing I will say is, look, Nuno has to try and give them a chance. He has to try and put them in the shop window. But regardless, it should not be. These players should be good enough to beat a team that were bet by slapped by Boa Vista on Monday 3-0. By the way, they played a day after we did. And these players that played didn't play at all against City. Their players did. So we were fresher than them. No excuses. And I can see where you're coming from.
Definitely. And big yourself up, Jiminy. Really do appreciate the support. I'll say it again. You're absolute legend. Everybody big up Jiminy. Really support. Also, again, as always, everybody big up Dark Sun G as well. Such a generous contributor to the Irish Hotspur. Always so generous to us. Always there to answer plenty of our questions as well. Dark Sun G, one of the most active listeners, you would say, of the Irish Hotspur. Always answering the questions, always listening intently. And then Dark Sun G here saying, how is Mr. 33 our captain for that match? He's the worst person for the armband. It should have been Romero or Galini. David, you missed my super chat. I think we might have gotten to a Dark Sun G. Maybe it was from, maybe a while ago before, but let us know, Dark Sun G, if we still missed it. Hopefully we didn't. But Dark Sun G, really do appreciate. Oh, I think it is actually up here, David. Did we do this one? Sorry about that, Dark Sun G. Really do. Dark Sun G, we really have to apologize. Really sorry about that. David and I will do better for you next time. Really do apologize. And
I feel like you let you down now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, really apologize, Dark Sun G. And he says, Mr. Easy Pass and Mr. 33, Mr. 33 play equal very boring game, and they do get defeated. Mr. Easy Pass and Mr. 33 equals doesn't play equals very exciting and assured victory. No, absolutely. Mr. Easy Pass and Mr. 33, if they don't play, definitely equals 3 points. If Mr. Easy Pass and Mr. 33 do play, it's definitely only going to be a point, or no points taken away from it. It's just a simple logical conclusion. It's simple math. It's simple stats. I know, Dark Sun G, you're a man of the stats, and I know that's going to be the algorithm that you and I are going to be using this season for all of our stats computation. But really do, David and I definitely apologize for missing that earlier. Just really do apologize. Such a legend, so generous to us as well. So do apologize. Dark Sun G, back to this super chat from before, says, how's Mr. 33 our captain for that match? He's the worst player for the armband. It should have been Romero Galini. Maybe it should have been Romero Galini, despite, that's few caps. It does seem like Mr. Anonymous is not capable of leading anything. He probably isn't even capable of leading a line, David, not even a defensive line. He probably would take it all over the place. And then as well, Mr. Anonymous, he just doesn't even look like a captain. He's not even, bulk enough. He doesn't even seem wise enough. He's not even, honestly, for me, even been, a focal point of the club long enough to be a captain. I would say Moon Boots is, even more deserving of a captain than even Mr. Anonymous. And that sounds shocking to say. But I would still have Eric Dyer as my captain over him for sure. But let me know what you think on that, Dark Sun G. Is that a bit crazy, to say that Moon Boots would be better as a captain? But I noticed that as well, Dark Sun G. And I was saying that during the game to David, how on earth is Ben Davies our captain for this game? It's just atrocious. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, look, what I will say to that is the thinking behind it. If you're a manager, you give it to, your oldest, most experienced player out there, Ben Davies. You give it to him, and he settles in the likes of Sessegnon, Scarlett, and then the new signings. He settles them in around him. That's the thinking behind it as a new manager. You don't want to kind of rock the boat. You have to give these guys a chance. And look, I'd be very shocked to see some of these players again. I really would. At the end of the day, if all Nuno has to do is look at what happened to Pochettino at the end of his tenure, the players he had to rely on. Look what happened to Jose and the players he had to rely on. If Nuno's smart, he doesn't persist with these players. It's that simple. It's that simple.
Interesting. But Dark Sun G, really do appreciate the support. Really do appreciate the support as always. And as well, really also love his passion, against Stinksy, against, the Mr. Non-applicable. Let me know what you think of that one. Dark Sun G, he seems to like Mr. Easy Pass. I really like that one, Dark Sun G, as well. But again, David and I, we really do appreciate all of your support. Really do appreciate your generosity. And everybody else, please help out Dark Sun G. He's carrying the channel right now, as well as Jiminy's absolutely carrying us in terms of the donations, in terms of the super chats. Really do appreciate it, Dark Sun G. Really generous. David here, one of the greatest names in the world, the biblical name, the leader of countries kind of name. He says, spot on, Dave. The fact that this starting 11 last night should have been enough to do the job done. They should have been able to do the job. Shame on these backups. We have no depth at all. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of getting onto, David. And maybe Jiminy and I were kind of talking about it earlier as well. It just seems like if we need to play, our starting 11 for a game like that in order to win it, in order to make sure that we win, that's just atrocious. I mean, we can't be paying these players this amount of salary in terms of their wages. For them to lose games like these. They honestly should not be paid footballers if they're going to lose games like these this easily and be outclassed by a team like that so easily. They really should not be paid footballers. Really do agree with you, David. And that's what makes it so concerning, is that our depth is literally lack thereof. There is no depth. It's just a solid starting 11, maybe a few extra, players on the bench that, might help us out. But then you go, deeper into it. It really is scary how poor it looks. It really is scary how poor it looks, David.
Yeah, no, look, look. Honestly, until we get them gone, keep getting the same results. What's scary is, and what I will say to you, David, by the way, greatest name, best name on planet Earth, is that, think about it, when Tanganga gets injured, right, and he has a history of long-term injuries, so over the law of averages, you'd expect it to happen again this season. I hope it doesn't, but history tells us it will. Doherty's your next man in, right? You go to Højbjerg and Skip. If they get an injury, the Celso and Winks are your next man in there.
Yeah.
Reguilon gets an injury. Ben Davies is your next man in there. So these will see game time. And this is why we have to get rid of them. Because they will ultimately end up seeing game time. And the same thing will happen what happened with Mourinho. When we got injuries and we had to start relying on these players, results took a downturn. And the same thing will happen under Nuno once these players get in there. I'm telling you now, we need to get them gone, and we need to get them gone now, Dahi. So big yourself up. And by the way, Dahi is the Irish for David. So big yourself up, Dahi. I really appreciate the support. Sean Snow says, I really think Nuno just wanted to show Levy what crap is left in the squad. Agree with David. That team last night should have won. Yeah, I agree. It probably was. Look, this is the shit, the same. Look, I actually think you should just clip this and send it on to Nuno, because same results keep happening. History's telling us they're not good enough. And I know Winks came out and said something which I will address when we get on to Harry Winks. I haven't even got on to him yet. When we do, I will address it. But look, we should be beating these teams. There's no excuses for it. I know people might say, oh, you're being a bit harsh, a bit angry, your knee-jerk reaction, it's only 1-0, we can turn it around the second leg. Should already be true. We should already be true. It's that simple. We should already be through into the group stage. We shouldn't have to go there, because now we've given them the opportunity to sit 11 men behind the ball, park the bus, and just not concede. We've given them that opportunity. And with how dogged they were last night, if we don't live up to that and we think we're going to walk out there at our stadium and slap these with these same players, we think again. It's concerning. And Sean, I appreciate it, my man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, my man. I appreciate the support.
Really do appreciate it, Sean. And then as well, really do appreciate the support as always. And also thank you for always tuning into the Irish Hotspur as well as flatcapeurotalk, Sean. Really big supporter of the channel. We really do appreciate you. And then as well, Sean, I will say, it definitely is a team that should have won. I really don't think, we should be playing Nuno for this. I think Nuno was just as shocked as we were, probably by, you know, them losing a game like this with the type of players he picked. But Tim Man 007 saying, what did you think of Jack Clark? In my opinion, he was poor. Yeah, you know, Jack Clark, you know, we didn't include him in the player ratings. But I will say, Tim Man, is, you know, I wonder if you saw, you know, the same passage of play where, you know, Jack Clark tried to start doing some skills at, you know, the Pacos De Ferreira right back and seemed to lead the ball behind him at one point, and actually realized that, you know, he was doing skills with the ball, you know, a few yards behind him. He actually forgot something, you know, kind of like how you forget your keys when you leave the door. He seemed to leave the ball behind him as well in the same manner. Really was pathetic. And again, another type of moment where you really do think that, you know, these players are paid to play football, and those type of moments are, you know, something that I would do on the pitch, you know, something I would never see David do, but, you know, it is something that, you know, I would do on the pitch, and seeing Jack Clark do that really is, you know, it's just really pathetic. Really, really pathetic. Jiminy here, though, saying, I'm off to bed, lads. And Ellie, much love for both of you. Really do appreciate it, Jiminy. Really do appreciate it. You know, that's really, really, really great support shown by you. Really generous from you. We really do appreciate it, Jimmy. Honestly, what a legend. What a legend. Everybody wish Jiminy a good night. Hopefully you have, you know, the right ice cream or whatever, you know, cold drink there is, you know, to put yourself to sleep, Jiminy. Really do appreciate it. I really hope you have something in the fridge or in the freezer lined up to reward yourself. Honestly, so incredibly generous. What a legend. What a legend.
Big up, Jimmy. I appreciate it. Go and get some 40 winks, my man. Go and get some 40 winks. Tottenham fans still believe we win a cup and 2-5 this year. Come on, you Spurs. Yeah, look, Nuno does have a good tradition in cup runs and that, whatever club he's been at. There is a possibility it can happen, but honestly, to even get through the early rounds, Dermot, we have to get better players that want to come in and win, because we're not going to get through the early rounds against these teams unless we play Kane or something, which we shouldn't be. We should be saving the likes of them players for the weekend. So, look, I do believe we'll win a cup, but honestly, we need to pull our finger out in this transfer market. I'm starting to get a bit concerned, but look, that's a stream for another day. Jack, fire the next question at us, my man.
Oh, definitely. And this is going to come to Ellie here. You know, Ellie, you know, was it maybe the formation, you know, that Nuno picked? You know, was it something else? You know, was it the players simply, you know, not having that urgency, you know, that commitment? Was it maybe now, if you were to pick between one or the two, was it Nuno? Was it the players?
I think the players. Players, definitely, because Nuno was animated at the side, and you could see he was very angry with the performance, and he was trying to lift the players, but they just weren't lifting. It's like they were dead wood on the pitch. They didn't perform at all, but it was a bit shameful, to tell you the truth. I was, from the elation of beating Man City to that, it's like chalk and cheese, isn't it? I was right cheesed off because we didn't put no passion into our play. We never made any good passes, really, like penetrating passes to split their defence open. When they pressed us, we didn't press them back. We were just lounging around the pitch like nothing mattered. You know, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous performance.
Yeah.
Shameful.
Yeah, definitely shameful. And no, Ellie, let me get you with the second question here. You know, is it the debutants? You know, is it the experienced, you know, players that let us down? You know, would you think, you know, a lot of it actually should be put on, you know, the younger players? Who do you think is maybe, you know, most to blame here? Is it more the experienced players that let us down, or is it, you know, the younger players that you feel like let us down?
No, the senior players, they should be guiding the young players and encouraging them, because the young players played the best football. You know, even like, I thought Gill was good. Like I said, Gill was good, and Scarlett was making really good runs, but they just weren't finding him. And Noel John done well for the time he was on. He done very, very well. Jack Clark showed little glimpses that there's a player there. Then he faded as usual. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I mean, I thought Lo Celso was the worst, because it was like he didn't do nothing good. Nothing. You can't put your finger on one thing. You can say, yeah, he tried, or yeah, he did something good. And leading the younger players, guiding them, making sure that they know where they should be. He didn't have no leadership. It's like he didn't care.
Yeah.
Doesn't he want to get into the first team? On that performance, he's not even going to make the fifth team. Rubbish. You know what I mean? Oh.
Yeah.
And he's a really good player. I don't understand why he's not performing.
Yeah, definitely,
He's got all the
definitely.
ability, hasn't he?
No, definitely has all the ability for sure. Dark Sun G with a super chat though saying, to be honest, I'm giving Doherty until this season before I want him out. Mr. 33 and Mr. Easy Pass were here way too long, so I want them gone too. And then he's saying, Harvey White over Mr. Easy Pass. Maybe first I'll just say Dark Sun G. I do think in the case of Doherty, I do think most of us probably wanted to see him out after his first season. It's just kind of, in case transfers, it really just doesn't work that way. Where you buy someone for that much coin and then ship them off, the next season. It's pretty much impossible. Even in FIFA, they don't let you do that, David. And then as well, Mr. 33 and Mr. Easy Pass were certainly, here way too long. And I will say, they definitely have no more straws left. No more straws left for me. It really is the last straw for me for both of them. And then absolutely, I would love to see Harvey White just come in for Harry Winks. I don't really think Harvey White could do any worse than Harry Winks. So that's why I really do think Harvey White needs to come in. I don't see it possible for him to do any worse of a job than Harry Winks has done in the last, I would say few seasons for us. So definitely Dark Sunji. Totally agree with you there. Anything maybe on Harvey White, maybe, replacing Winksy there, David? What are your thoughts?
Honestly, can he do any worse? At least you're going to get passion, desire. He's going to try and be brave. I would actually rather sit there and accept them mistakes from a Harvey White, not from a 25-year-old who doesn't learn from his mistakes. It's that simple. I would accept them from Harvey White, not Harry Winks. Big up Dark Sunji, my man. Really appreciate it.
Really big up as always, Dark Sunji. Really do appreciate it. And then Faz Redfar saying, just want to say big up to the panel. You just give me hope. You give me hope. Thank you. No, Faz, I really hope we are, because at the moment, this one has been definitely, our most negative stream, I would say, this week. And it's definitely one where I would say it's not helping me feel full of confidence, but it also is a bit of therapy maybe for all of us. So hopefully it's a bit of therapy for you, Fez. Hopefully, you were watching that game and were absolutely disgusted as we were. And hopefully it is, just one of those fluke kind of games that just never happens again. And hopefully a lot of the players that we saw in that game, we won't see for some time ever again. But Fez, really big yourself up. Really do appreciate the support as always, Fez. And also thank you for joining us, Fez. Moving on to the next question here, David, I think it's your time to shine. Winks, is this the last straw? Is this the time where we just can never see him again? Even David, I know he's always been your least favorite player. Is it maybe just even not even worth speaking about him anymore? Is this maybe even the last time, for you, David, that you'll even give, Winks this sort of airtime?
Yeah, honestly, guys, make the most of this, because this is the last time I've actually said this to Ellie and Jack off camera. This is the last time I'm going to speak about this guy until he goes, because he's just honestly, what did I do? Someone tell me, please, I beg you, what did I do in a previous life to deserve this? Please tell me. It's painful. When are we going to learn our lessons with this guy? Look, the thing is, right, he comes out today, I want to stay at Tottenham and fight for my place. I've seen this before with Eric Dyer, right? All last season, we lose a game, they come out, we're going to fight for the badge, we're going to fight, don't worry, you're going to see something this week. And we lose again, right? Now, Harry Winks, now, my point on this is why come out the day after a game and say that, right? You had your chance in the game yesterday to prove that. So, I'm a firm believer, show me actions. Words are great, right? You know what I mean? But show me actions. The thing is, he had a chance last night to prove what he's saying in the paper today. In fact, he wouldn't have to come out in the paper today and say, or whoever he said it to, wouldn't have to come out and say that today if he would have put in the performance last night. He was absolutely diabolical, right? Now, this guy, people keep defending, backup player. This is where he should be playing, in these games. Last night, he was dreadful. If I can sit there the night before, Jack, right, the night before, and say, if Winks plays, he can't be getting caught on the ball the way he does. He needs to be progressive on the ball. He has to be playing forward. If not, we're going to be caught with him, and they're going to score off it. Now, that's my observation. He would have been briefed on that all week. Harry Winks, this is what you need to do. This is the way they play. And he still can't get it into his head, right? The guy yesterday, all he done was just play, especially the last 20 minutes, and this really, really fucked me off, right? Really pissed me off, is You're 1-0 down, right? You're looking at someone to grab the game by the bollocks, by the scruff of the neck, and start making things happening. We've been bored for 70 minutes. Start making something happen. And this guy is picking up the ball, passing it left to Davies, taking it back. Thanks, buddy. Right to Doherty, taking it back. Sound, lad. That's getting up my passing stats. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it, right? And then, you know, he goes to play forward and then loses it. On the goal last night, and this is everything I've been saying about tonight, and within one goal, he has proven single-handedly why he is not good enough to be at this club and why he constantly fails when he plays. Let me tell you why. So look, he gets the ball, right? It's a simple 5-yard pass. He fails to execute the basics, right? So then he's lost the ball. Now, where he's playing is he's the deepest lying midfielder. So he knows if he gets caught out, right, or he overcommits, they're straight in on our back three. You can't allow that to happen. So what does he do after he gives away the simple 5-yard pass, which he should be executing? He then dives in to try and retrieve it. They pop it round him. They're in on our back three. It's that simple. So that tells me he can't pass the ball. He can't do the basics. He doesn't know his position. He doesn't know how to play his position. And he's absolutely zero football IQ. Zero. Within that move, he has single-handedly shown why he keeps failing and why he should not be at this club. Within that one move. And look, I know Cameron Carter-Vickers, his defending was terrible. I know that. But we'll get on to that. But the fact is, it all stemmed from Winks. But you could see it coming, Jack. He was doing it time and time again. And then when he did try and play passes forward, long passes, they were either underhit or overhit. You know, it's a problem. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, look, it's his first game. Look back at the game against Colchester. Look back at the game against Colchester. He was absolutely shocking. He was that bad. He even megged himself. How do you not meg yourself when you're on the ball? It's appalling, right? He's not strong enough in midfield. He hates contact. He hates it. In fact, social distance is probably right up his alley. Right up his alley. He probably walks out onto the pitch beforehand and goes to the players, oh, by the way, you're not allowed to tackle me, social distance, all this sort of crap, right? Absolutely. He hates contact. So he's not even physical enough to be in there. And this guy, honestly, he's stealing a living. Like I said, he can't live off the homegrown quote anymore. We have plenty of players to come in and fill that void. And for me, he just has to go. He offers absolutely nothing. In his performance last night, there was no pride, passion, desire, urgency, or realization of what's going on around him. We're one goal down, and he's just popping the ball left and right. He's absolutely shocking. But what led to the mistake for the goal is because he wasn't executing the basics from the very off. Now, I think we ended that match last night on 60-something possession. Now, tell me what we done with it. We didn't create one chance. Dane Scarlett was making runs all the time. Gill was making runs in behind. Sessegnon was making runs in behind looking for it. The guy couldn't do it. Jack, there was at one stage, there was nobody around him in the field. The ball was bouncing. All he has to do is take a touch, right? And by the time he took his touch, it was that bad. They came in, swarmed him, took the ball off him. This guy is not good enough to be here. He's not. When he stepped in, when under Pochettino, when he was filling the void between Dembele's injuries and Wanyama's injuries, performances were dipping. Were dipping. When he came in under Mourinho, each week, every single week, we were talking about a mistake from Harry Winks. Like, look, we've exposed this guy. He plays with his back to goal. The reason why he can't play forward is because any good footballer, it's the first thing you're taught when you're 5. You receive the ball on the half turn, it opens up the pitch, you can see things forward and you can play forward. This guy doesn't do it. He likes to play with his back to goal. Honestly, he's that safe. Durex should sponsor this guy. Just give him a sponsorship. He's that safe. He's ridiculous. And for me, I've had enough. This guy is giving me sleepless nights, and it's just not fair on a Spurs fan base anymore. In fact, I'd actually go to the point where now he's actually hurting Tottenham more than he's helping Tottenham. And I know some people may say that's harsh, but he's playing in these games where you expect to go out and beat these teams. Nice, cozy. Give some of the youngsters a run. Then they should be able to, be getting a goal or two, especially the wingers and the strikers, because we're just dominating these teams. And he's not capable of doing it. 3 managers, even longer, more than for Wink's sake, more than 3 managers But 3 managers, same results. The guy has to be gone this window. This window. Simple.
Yeah, definitely has to be gone this window. Then as well, I would say is actually more of a detriment. You know, it's more of a hurt to the squad, to the dressing room, to the morale than he is in any way, sense or form. You know, a help. Dark Sun G with the super chat though, and as well, Dark Sun G, really do appreciate your continuous support. I'll say it a million times. You're an absolute saint to David and I. Really do appreciate your generosity. And he says, imagine if we loan Skip out again. We would have used Mr. Easy Pass against City, and then we would have probably lost. I'm glad we are keeping Skip over Easy Pass. You know, I think there needs to be, you know, even more notations for that. You know, Skip is in no way, shape, or form should be mentioned in the same sentence as Mr. Easy Pass. You know, honestly, it's actually quite a shame that they even share the same passport, you know, Skippy and Mr. Easy Pass. The fact that they even share the same, you know, badge, they share, you know, the same dressing rooms, even honestly, disrespect to Skippy, considering how much better Skippy has already looked. I mean, name me a time when, you know, Winks, you know, won us a game against Man City in the same way that, you know, Skippy did. Honestly, even, you know, Skippy's or Mr. Winks's, you know, Man City run or Champions League run was nowhere near, I think, as impressive as Skip's performance against City recently. So really, Mr. Easy Pass, he's done. There's no help for him. There's no saving him. He's honestly a detriment to Spurs. We have to get him out completely. And then as well, Dark Sun G saying, remember Mr. Easy Pass has prioritized the Euros over Spurs. That's why honestly, Mr. Dark Sun G, taking the words out of my mouth there. That's what I was also going to say. Not only does he, you know, not do anything for Spurs, not only is he probably one of our worst players, our worst midfielders, but as well, you know, he honestly seems to prioritize, you know, playing for England more than he does to play for Spurs. That seems to mean more to him. Even when he's playing like absolute shit, he still seems to think that he can play for England. He still seems to think that that's what matters more to him. So yeah, honestly, unbelievable that Stinks, you know, has reached this level of shit. And what David has just said really just shows we honestly can't give him any more airtime. There's really only so much more we can really say about him before we go blue in the face, I would say. So honestly, Mr. Easy Pass, I really do wish that, you know, you get out as soon as possible. I do hope Paratici can find a new home for him, whether that be, you know, just pulling up the drawbridge or whether that just be, you know, just attending Levy Land. I'm not sure, but really do appreciate it, Dark Sun G.
I just want to end off as well with Dark Sun G. I appreciate the support, my man. I really do. And Mr. Easy Pass, we'll remember that as your nickname, my man. Don't worry for these players. We'll trademark that for you. But look, I do want to end off. And look, don't get me wrong. It's not that I hate Harry Winks. Look, I'm sure he's a good man. I'm sure he's a good family man, whatever. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about fucking football. And at the end of the day, he's just not good enough. Homegrown, come through the system. I don't care. At the end of the day, you're either good enough or you're not. And he's just not. So we need to cut the crap now and get him gone. We really do. Jack, fire away with the next question there for Ellie.
Yeah, definitely. And then Aaron Dub also quickly sent in a super chat. And Aaron Dub, really do appreciate it. If you meant to put in a comment there, Aaron, we will get to it. But Aaron, really do appreciate the support as always. Thank you for everything. Thank you for all the support you showed David and I. But moving on here, Ellie, if it's all right with you, I am going to ask you about Doherty and Davies, maybe considering them together. You know, maybe first with Doherty. Is he maybe not as much of let's say a specialist for the back 3, back 5 as we might have thought? You know, is he maybe not as actually as good of an attacking wing back as some might have thought? What do you think? Is he capable of being a good, you know, full wing back for us in that back 3, back 5 system?
I think he is, but the thing is, every time he plays, he disappoints, doesn't he? I think he's got it in his locker to be a lot better than he's showing. Maybe because he's a gooner, he just doesn't want to play for us. You know what I mean? He made it quite vocal that he's an Arsenal fan. So, I mean, what we having an Arsenal fan playing for us anyway? Get him out.
Yeah.
I do. Honestly, no, seriously. I think there is a player there. He's just not performed. Little snippets here and there of some nice touches and some nice link-up play with Bell last season. He had a little niche going with Bell last season, but since then he didn't get back in the team, and he's lost his way. He still feels like he's a stranger to the team. You know, he's not gelled at all, has he?
Yeah, definitely has not gelled at all. And then on to Ben Davies there, Ellie. Do you think, Ben Davies, a lot of people have said, he's kind of finished as a fullback. He can't really make it as a left back anymore.
No.
He featured as the left-sided center back in a back three. Do you think that could be Davies' best position, or you think maybe similar to Doherty, where it's a bit concerning, if that's supposed to be his best position, that still, he wasn't able to cut it?
That Davies' best position is sitting at a pub watching the match.
From the stool, yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't got a good position because he's inept, isn't he? He doesn't offer us anything going forward, and defensively he's suspect. That's why a lot of teams, when they see Davies in the lineup, they play on his side because they know he's weak. He's weak all round. We've got to ship him out. Come on. How many more years do we want to see this crap?
Yeah,
they're playing for Tottenham Hotspur. They're not playing for Mansfield Town or Notts County. You know what I mean? We're Spurs. We should have standards.
Yeah.
Certainly we should have higher standards. Certainly should have higher standards. And as Wally will say, in the case of Doherty, I am just concerned. This is supposed to be his best position. This is where he's supposed to be more like the Dohertinho. Maybe this is supposed to be also the position that, Nuno is supposed to be able to get through to him. And it seems like, even Nuno is giving up on him in that right wing back position, that right far-sided fullback position. And then as well, in the case of Davies, he seemed to play okay, in the left-sided back three, for Wales. But I will say, they were playing very defensive there. And he still, I wouldn't say was, the best of the three in terms of that Wales back three. I would actually say he was probably the worst one still of that back three for Wales. So it really does show, how far down, Ben Davies has gone. He doesn't make it as a left back anymore. Doesn't seem to be good enough, as a left side center back anymore. I really am very concerned for Davies. But Emily Dunn with a super chat here, and she says, congratulations on 4K, up from here, #Harris Army. Yeah, Emily, honestly, there's nothing better looking, there's nothing sleeker looking than the 4K. Really, when I was saying it to David, it looks absolutely sexy seeing it on the channel, seeing the 4K instead of, the 3.9, now that we're at the 4K, you're now watching, the Irish Hotspur in 4K with 4K vision. So really do appreciate it, Emily. Really do appreciate it. I'm glad you noticed. David, also still not there, about a day away from the 9-month anniversary. But David, 4K, 9-month anniversary, anything to say?
Yeah, look, it's been incredible. Honestly, when I started this, I just wanted to put my opinions out there. I just wanted to put my opinions out there. I never ever thought it'd reach the heights it's reached. And look, even some people with massive channels and all probably look at me and laugh and say, like 4K is on heights to reach. Trust me, for a guy that had nothing coming into this, setting up, doing it all with the phone up until 3.5K subscribers, it's been amazing. It's been amazing. The love and the support I've received out here, it's insane, and I can never ever repay and never ever thank you guys enough. It's been absolutely insane, and look, long may it continue. Look, I would love to take this to the very, very top. I truly believe if we keep going the way we're going, we can definitely get there. But look, let's see how many more people can like it. Maybe this could be as far as it goes. Who knows? But look, guys, it's been a great ride so far. I've put a lot of hours, a lot of time, a lot of effort that people don't see off camera to be able to make it happen. Quality and improving the quality of the shows, trying to make my shows different to everybody else's, trying to have a different standout and everything else. And look, learned a lot along the way, met a lot of great people. And look, hopefully we can get it to 5K. If we can get it to 5K, amazing. If not, I'm happy with 4K. It looks good. I do, and thank you, Emily. I really appreciate your support along the way as well. It's not forgotten, and it's been amazing. I do want to touch on Doherty. I've actually come up with a nickname for Doherty, and it's Mr. Hollywood. And let me tell people why. My only concern is that if he ever hears this, he might take it as a compliment. But with Doherty, right, let me tell you why we now nickname him Mr. Hollywood. Is because whenever this guy plays, right, he always has this facial expression. And everyone knows what I mean. The camera pans to him, he's like looking down, he's like, oh, I'm trying so hard. That facial expression, oh, I tried so hard there. At the end of the day, what I will say is, yeah, try hard. That's the minimum I expect from you. But Stop putting on an act. Instead of just like this whole, oh, look at me, I'm trying hard, and I'm coming out to the papers, walking out in their sunglasses, sitting there in front of the papers, you know what I mean? Reporters, and just talking shit, right? Stop acting and just start doing. This is the problem. Some of these players think Tottenham Hotspur is Hollywood. You know, let's put on the right facial expression. Let's say the right things. We'll be good. You know what I mean? You wanna act and you wanna audition. I'll get you a plane to Hollywood. Just get out. But while you're here, stop putting on the facial expressions and all that sort of shit, and just do. Just do it. You do it, the fans will adore you. You don't, you get criticized. It's that simple. It's black and white. It's plain and simple. It's that simple. Perform, stop acting. So that's why Doherty is nicknamed Mr. Hollywood, because he looks like he should be in a movie with all these facial expressions and coming out saying these things and everything else. And by the way, as well, another player that came out after Mourinho went and said, oh yeah, maybe we could have done better. Again, saying the right things. Just start showing me actions. You're a footballer, you get paid to show us in actions. You get paid to play football. You get paid to put in desire. Or well, not even, but you get paid to put it in as a bare minimum. You know what I mean? So look, instead of acting, and the reason why I say acting is because all the guy done all night, Jack, with Doherty, right? He started the match trying to get forward, but he passed it inside. He'd lose the ball. He wouldn't execute the simple 5-yard pass. And then after that, as the game got on, again, 70 minutes, he's one of the culprits, lethargic, slow. Oh, let's just pass the ball back inside to Inks and let him give it to Davies and all the way back to me. Let's do that for a few minutes and then we'll get out of here. You know what I mean? It's an absolute joke. At the end of the day, what I want from him is getting on the ball. If you are going to pass it inside, make sure it actually goes into your man. Make your run on the outside. But as well, grab some cojones. Get on the ball. Skin your player. Try and get by him. Create something. Stop acting. You know, getting the pass, just passing it into Inks, getting my passing stats up so that because they know the game has gone so stats orientated now, they do these little things so that their performances don't look as bad as what they actually were. But what I say to people is your eyes don't lie to you. Your eyes do not lie to you. He was shocking last night, and he's been shocking since he got here. He's playing in a position that's supposed to be his fancied position, where he thrives most. We've played him there for Ireland. We've played him there for Tottenham, and we've seen the same thing. Absolutely nothing. Can't pass in 5 yards inside. He's just useless. He has to go. Mr. Anonymous, just short and simple. He was anonymous, so I'm not even going to speak about him. He done nothing.
Yeah, definitely done nothing. Moving on maybe to some of the last questions here of the evening. Do we think that maybe we've learned our lesson? You know, and Harris Army, let me know. Do we feel like maybe we've learned our lessons with the likes of Davies, Winks, Doherty? Maybe Doherty, you know, we're going to have to continue to find ways to play, maybe continue to give chances to until maybe the end of his second season. But in terms of Davies and Winks and other players, you know, is this really the last straw for them? Is this really, you know, the final lesson that we just can't play these players? You know, should we practically be paying out their contracts? Should we maybe get, you know, other clubs to pay us to take them off our hands? You know, it's really hard to tell. Ellie, maybe the last question of the evening. Do you maybe think that, you know, Doherty and Davies, do you think that's maybe the last straw for them? Do you feel like we could give them any more chances?
No, they've had enough chances. Get them out. Fed up with them. I don't want to watch these bog standard players playing for our great club. When we've had players like Modric, Bale, Hoddle, Perryman, Ginola, Gaza, Ardiles, Ricky Villa. These players, they're superhuman players. They're fantastic. Doherty and Davies, they should be playing for lower teams from not just this season, from other seasons as well. I don't get it. I don't get why we're putting up with this rubbish.
Yeah.
Come on. Otherwise, we're going to not win things again. I don't want to go another 20 years without winning the cup again. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I want to look back on our history in the next 20 years and be proud, not bloody hiding from the other fans because I feel ashamed.
Yeah.
But Ellie, this is why we don't ever win anything, because you have players like this who we get knocked out of the cups early. or that, because these players don't put it in, and these results happen when we shouldn't get knocked out.
Yeah.
And that's why we don't win anything. That's why we don't win anything. Oh, look, it's not the only reason why. There's other reasons why, but it's a big contributing factor anyway. 100%.
I know. It's not good enough. Ship them out, get decent players back in. Players who are ballers. They can actually hold the ball, go forward, and create goals for us, so we can win matches.
Yeah.
But I mean, it wasn't all doom and gloom for the other players, though. There was bright sparks. Like I said, I like Hill, and I liked a bit of Jack Clark. He showed a little bit of spirit. Maybe he's not big enough and strong enough to hold the ball yet. I mean, how old is he? 21, 22, maybe?
Yeah, well, be honest, if he's 21, 22, he's definitely old enough anyway.
Should have beefed up by now. He's a man, isn't he?
Yeah.
Come on, start eating some steak, boy. Start eating some steak.
Maybe you can send him around to your house and you can feed him, Ellie, with all your steak dinners.
Yeah, like when I go to the supermarket, I buy the Irish steak. That's the best.
The good steak, the best steak in the world, that is.
It's the best steak in the world. Definitely. We're buying pork chops, aren't we, when we're buying players? Pork chops, we want steak.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely, for sure. Yeah, David.
It's annoying.
Sorry, David.
It's annoying we have to put up with these players, isn't it, David?
Yeah. Look, it's getting me on the joke. Honestly, it's giving me high blood pressure. It's giving me anxiety.
Yeah.
It's
under our eyes.
It's wrecking my head. It's giving me sleepless nights. Honestly, sometimes I'm not going to say it, but sometimes maybe when these guys are playing, that maybe I was blind, because I'm sick of watching that. I'm sick of watching that. At the end of the day, it's not. It's actually I've gone past the point of being angry with them. They're actually just hurting me now. They're actually just hurting me. I've gone past the point of being angry. It's just hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Dark Sun G with a super chat saying Mr. 33 and Mr. Easy Pass should go to Marine FC. They definitely be better fits there. He's saying nice fits over there. Absolutely, honestly, considering that, Harry Winks seems to be perfectly suited for that kind of competition. I would say a bit more closer to amateur football is definitely where Harry Winks belongs. But David, last question of the evening to you. Is this maybe, is this the lesson? Is this the lesson we have to learn, in terms of the case of Doherty, in the case of Davies? A lot of people, were saying, Nuno, can't pick players like these, he should know better. But does this actually then mean that these are types of players that, we just have finally learned our lesson on, that simply do not deserve to wear the badge anymore, simply just have to go? Or maybe even now some of the first players to go on the list, maybe we thought Moon Boots was a bit higher up there. It's possible that maybe he's, dropped down a couple of places, and then someone like Davies and Winks have actually moved straight up to the top. What do you think, David? Is this maybe the final straw for them as the last question of the evening, and maybe as the lesson for the Harris Army too?
Yeah, look, we need to learn from our lessons. Look, 3 managers, same results. You can't keep blaming the managers. Look, last year the manager was too mean, didn't train them hard enough. Pochettino trained them too hard. Now what now? Oh, well, Nuno's putting trust in us when our head's not right. Give me a break. Honestly, give me a break. How many more excuses? Like, we've already blamed stuff on other managers. They've already come out and blamed stuff on other managers. We're talking about men. We're not talking about a group of school kids who done something naughty and no one wants to fess up. We're talking about a bunch of grown men. Right now, start taking responsibility. But do you know how I know they never will? Is because they come out in the press. Instead of just doing it on the pitch where we actually want to see it, they would rather be on the front of the Sun or the front of the Daily Mail or whatever. They'd rather be on the front of them papers. I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to say the right things, rather than just doing it on the pitch. For me, we have to cut our losses, learn our lessons, get rid of them, bring in youngsters, and just accept they're going to make mistakes. Then you would say the case, that's when you should start bringing in the likes of Son, Højbjerg, Kane, players like that, because then you know that you're relying on youngsters. They can get the job done. Then you can bring them on and get the game done. Because when you're going out putting them in beside some of these excuses of performances, some of these guys keep putting in, it just tells you time is up. You look at their CV. Like, you're playing with Tottenham Hotspur. Losing to Colchester should never happen. Losing to Antwerp should never happen. Losing to Zagreb should never happen. Losing to Pacos De Ferreira should never happen. And some of these players have all 4 on their CV. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. It's not a good look for them. It's not a good look for them. And the thing is, they can cry about some of the criticism they get, and some may think it's harsh. Well, I think it's harsh that some of these are paid 80 grand a week and put in them performances. I think that's harsh because there's people out there that are homeless. There's people out there that would love to be in their position and put it in. Even just appearing in one of these games for Tottenham and putting on that badge. There's youngsters out there who would seize the opportunity to put on that badge. You heard the words Tanganga said at the weekend, how much he loves the club and how much it meant to him, the fans, everything else behind him. There's youngsters in the club that would want to take that opportunity. So why are these same men, 4 games that I can think of just off the top of my head, still getting the opportunity to play in these games when we keep getting the same results, which is being let down, sitting here being angry. Off the back of the weekend and the performance at the weekend, these players should be out there thinking, putting in the performance. Stop looking. The thing is with a lot of these guys, Jack, they always take the easy route out. They always look for the excuses. And they stick with it. Then the managers go and they say, oh, yeah, well, we should have done this, but in fairness, the train is too hard, or they told me some home truths and I didn't like it. I want to be buttered up. I want people to butter my balls and tell me I'm messy. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we're not going to do that to these players when they just don't put in the effort. The whole thing is, I'll be honest with you, for me, some of them are paid way too much and given so much too soon. They're reaching some of they're coming out multimillionaires, whether they reach the top of the game or not. So they have no incentives there, no drive. The only incentives and drive they have is if it's personal goals. That's it. So nowadays, like it's an absolute killer. Look, you even look on the Tanguy and Ndombele situation. This guy, does this guy love football? Does he even love the sport? Does he love to play? You know what I mean? And he's on 200k a week. We need to learn our lessons. Our recruitment has been shit. We're holding on to players way too long. We're blaming managers and throwing them under the bus because it's the cheapest option. Rather than rotate this squad, it's cheaper to sack a manager and hire another one. Well, we're not going to get away with that for much longer. So us as fans now need to sit here, wake up, drink some coffee, and smell, what the Rock is cooking. Because we have to be honest with ourselves. Until we get rid of some of this and rotate some of these players, we're going to keep going on about the same things. But look, it's not just on them. There's an element to Levy with this. He should have rotated this squad a lot sooner. Us as fans now, we need to start smelling the coffee and waking up here and stop blaming the managers. Stop looking for excuses out for these players and start putting the criticism and blame at their door. And that's plain and simple.
Yes.
Definitely. Well said, David. And that's the end of the show. I will say, guys, we did want to keep this a bit of a shorter stream for everybody, to keep your attention span for it. And then as well, we really do appreciate, your participation in the poll that David put up before the show as well. Do appreciate that. Appreciate all the engagement. Really big shout out to Dark Sun G. Really big shout out to Tin Man 007. Really big shout out to Jiminy. Really so incredibly generous to us. Really don't understand how much these super chats help, how much they do help our channel, how much they help David and I grow. And then as well, I really do appreciate all the support that you've been showing, our second channel, flatcapeurotalk. There's now 3 videos over there for you guys to check out. One of them being, which managers, do we see, being sacked this upcoming season across Europe's top 5 leagues, which are some of, the top young talents, in all of Europe's top 5 leagues for each league that I'll be looking at, which ones that I think actually have a strong chance. And then as well, the most recent one that I came out today is a bit of a football weekend watch list, the games, across Europe's top 5 leagues that really you think you should probably be taking a look at, apart from the Spurs games, which games do you think you would like to watch this weekend? And I have them all listed out for you. You don't have to look them up yourself. You don't have to check it out yourself. You just check that out on Flat Cap Euro Talk. It's basically your kind of weekend watch list. So there are 3 different videos for you guys to choose from over there. Really would appreciate if you go into the description, hit a subscribe, check out the channel, check out some of the content that we're coming out with over there. It's basically a place for us to come up with stuff outside of Spurs. So really do appreciate it. Really do appreciate it.
Yeah, 100%, guys. I'm just going to post the link in there now for the Flat Cap Euro Talk. If you could get over there and, really get your support behind us, it would be greatly appreciated. because look, we are working hard to try and bring a home for Spurs fans that do have an interest in other leagues and everything else for you guys. So just give me 1 minute there, and we'll get the link in there for you guys. Jack, your 5 picks for this weekend. Why don't you maybe give 1 or 2 of them there just by post the link in?
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of some of the games I was looking at, one of them being, on Sunday. Sunday is a really big pack game, I would say, in terms of the stuff you have to keep out for, especially Ligue 1. And I wouldn't be saying this a lot in terms of my weekend watch list, but Ligue 1 is definitely, something you should keep an eye on for. There are 2 teams that are not PSG, that are not Monaco, that are not Lille, that are top of the league. It's actually Angers, and I think it's called Clermont Foot or Clermont Foot. Those 2 teams are top of Ligue 1 right now, and so I think you should be checking out their games. Angers is playing, I believe, Bordeaux. If they win this game, they will continue to be top of Ligue 1 with 9 points. And then as well with Clermont Foot, I believe they also have 6 points, and they'll be taking on Olympique Lyon. Olympique Lyon, one of the managers, Peter Bosch there, I do think he's going to be sacked quite early this season, especially if he were to drop even more points against Clermont Foot. That would mean that I think Olympique Lyon, David, after 3 games, they would only have 1 point after 3 games. Absolutely shocking for Ligue 1. So definitely check out those. Fiorentina, Roma. We'll see Dusan Vlahovic take on Jose's team. That should be a really interesting one as well. Athletic Bilbao versus Barcelona on Saturday. Bayer Leverkusen against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Good game for the Bundesliga. And then also Arsenal against Chelsea is definitely going to be good. Definitely going to be a good one. But yeah, those are my 5 picks for the weekend, David.
Yeah, look, guys, everyone get over, check it out. I urge everyone to check it out. We have the ones about the managers up there. We have about Jack's top under 23 talents around Europe. So, guys, this is the link. Please click on it. Get over there. Show us the support. Smash the subscribe on it. Give the videos a watch. If you think it's worthy, then smash the subscribe on it. I really would love the same support as you've given us here. I want to say a massive thank you to you, the Harris Army, and everyone else for tuning in. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that's showing the support for the channel with the super chats. You have no idea how greatly it really, really is appreciated, guys. You've no idea. You're a massive, massive help. And you really are a credit to the Harris Army. You guys are amazing. What's coming up, what to expect, and we'll be dropping the players' ratings out now in the next hour for you guys to watch if you want to watch it. Then tomorrow we will be back here at 7 p.m. with Stats with Jack. And then look ahead of to the Wolves game with all the tactics that you need to see. And we're going to give it your visuals so you can see everything. Tune in. It's going to be an absolute great show. And then after that, then we'll be back at 9:30 tomorrow night with a preview for the Wolves game, where I'll be bringing on special guests and putting questions to them ahead of the Wolves game and sharing thoughts. So, guys, and then next week I'll be going back to putting out news updates for you guys, a short 15-20 minute clip, of just a bit of the news that's in the news and everything else for you guys. So there's plenty more coming up here. Make sure you do smash the like button, guys. Make sure you smash the subscribe button, and if you're new, on the big push to 5K now. I never ever thought I'd ever say that. Guys, in Nuno we trust. And come on, you Spurs.
In Nuno we trust, everybody.